بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the help of Allah, we began a brief commentary of Quran. We got to chapter Nisa, the fourth chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina. It has 176 verses. Please listen to verse 92.
وما كان لمؤمن أن يقتل مؤمنا إلا خطأ ومن قتل مؤمنا خطأ فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة ودية مسلمة إلى أهله إلا أن يصدقوا فإن كان من قوم عدو لكم وهو مؤمن فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة وإن كان من قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق فدية مسلمة إلى أهله وتحرير رقبة مؤمنة فمن لم يجد فصيام شهرين متتابعين توبة من الله وكان الله عليما حكيما.
We translated this verse in previous section and we talked a little. I'm going to continue. Allah says, nobody can kill innocent person. A believer cannot kill another innocent person, a believer, unless by mistakes. And if he kills by mistakes, first, فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ. He should free a believing slave first, if there is a slave. Otherwise, of course, if there is no slave to free, as there is no such a things today, وَدِيَةٌ مُسَلَّمَةٌ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ. He should give blood money, compensation, مُسَلَّمَةٌ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ, to give to the family of a person who is killed. We said blood money, as it is mentioned in Islamic laws, it is about 1,000 misqal gold. Each misqal is about 5 grams, and 1,000 misqal is about 5,000 grams of gold, or 100 camel, or 200 camel, any of them. This is compensation. Of course, the blood money doesn't mean that the price of a person is such a thing. Of course, it doesn't have price. It doesn't mean a person can say, I buy this person with such a money, or I kill and I give this money. Of course, it is a big sin, and it is not the price of a person. But when we say price, blood price, or blood money, for example, or compensation of death, it means since the family of a person who is killed, he faced a lot of problem, at least financially, Islam has ordered a killer to give some money to compensate a little. So he should give also blood money, as we said, إِلَّا أَن يَصَّدَّقُوا, unless the family will forgive or give as a charity, unless they say we don't want it. If they say we don't want anything, then it is not necessary. So it is necessary to give it unless they forgive it. This is one issue. Second, فَإِنْ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمٍ عَدُوٍّ لَكُمْ. Of course, this person was a believer who is killed by another believer by mistakes and his family are Muslims. We talked about it. Second issue, a believer kills another person, another believer, but his family are enemy. His family are not Muslims. They are fighting with the Muslims. Okay, if this person, believer, will be killed by mistake and his family are disbelievers and are fighting with the Prophet, what is the duty and responsibility? Allah says, وَمَنْ فَإِنْ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمٍ, if a believer is from a nation, عَدُوٌّ لَكُمْ, they are your enemy, وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ, and this person who is killed is a believer, what can we do? We should give the blood money to the family who are not Muslims and they are fighting with the Muslims. Allah says here, فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ, only to free a believing slave. That's all. It means there is no compensation here. There is no blood money. Why? Because Islam doesn't want to make the family strong in such circumstances, since the family are disbelievers. And disbelievers will not inherit from a person who is a believer. And Allah doesn't want them to make them strong, to see that they are strong because they are fighting with the Muslims. So in these circumstances, Allah says only فَتَحْرِيرُ رَغَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ, the killer or the family of a killer is necessary only to give blood money, blood price or compensation. Is not necessary to give blood money or blood compensation, only it is necessary to free a believing slave. Another issue, Allah says, وَإِنْ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمٍ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ مِيثَاقٌ, but if such a person who is killed by mistake is from a nation, from a group that between you and them there is a peace contract. They are not Muslims, but there is a peace contract between you and them, and he is a believer from such a family. What can we do here? Allah says, بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ مِيثَاقٌ فَدِيَةٌ مُسَلَّمَةٌ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ. In these circumstances, Allah says you should give them also compensation and blood money. There is a discussion between scholars that here in this situation, this person who is killed is a believer or is not. Some they said if he is a believer, it is impossible that these believers will inherit from them. And because of that, they said, definitely it shows that this person is a disbeliever from such a family. But since there is a agreement and peace contract between you and their family, you should give the money to them. So some they said he is not a believer, and some they said yes, he is a believer, but since there is a peace contract, you should give the family compensation and blood money. Allah says, وَإِنْ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمٍ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ مِيثَاقٌ, if he is from a nation that between you and them there is a peace contract, فَدِيَةٌ مُسَلَّمَةٌ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ, you should give the family compensation of death, and which is blood money, as I said, about 1,000 misqal gold, about 5,000 grams of gold, or 100 camel, or 200 cows, or money which will be equal of any of them. فَدِيَةٌ مُسَلَّمَةٌ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ وَتَحْرِيرُ رَغَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ, plus the compensation, plus also free a believing a slave. وَتَحْرِيرُ رَغَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ. Then Allah says, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَصِيَامُ شَهْرَيْنِ مُتَتَابِعَيْنِ. If a person doesn't find a slave, what can he do instead of that? Allah says, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَصِيَامُ شَهْرَيْنِ مُتَتَابِعَيْنِ تَوْبَةً مِنَ اللَّهِ. If he cannot do such a thing, either there is no slave or he doesn't have money to do that, then Allah says, فَصِيَامُ شَهْرَيْنِ مُتَتَابِعَيْنِ. He should make a fast for 2 months. Inshallah, in next section, I'm going to talk about this verse again. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.